At first glance, a rabbit sprinting across a meadow and a hare bounding over an open field can look nearly identical, almost like two versions of the same animal. They both have those long ears that swivel like tiny satellite dishes, those powerful hind legs built for escape, and that classic twitch of the nose that makes them seem constantly alert to the world around them. In stories, riddles, and even casual conversation, people often use the words rabbit and hare as if they describe the same creature. But in nature, these two animals live dramatically different lives shaped by environment, instinct, and evolution. One is a cautious underground dweller that survives through community, stealth, and numbers. The other is a lone sprinter of the open plains, relying on raw speed, independence, and nerve. So what truly separates a rabbit from a hare? The differences go far beyond what we see at first glance. They reveal two fascinating survival strategies that evolved from the same family tree but branched in completely different directions. This is the story of rabbit versus hare, and by the end of it, you'll never look at either animal the same way again. To really understand the contrast between them, we first have to look at their bodies, because every feature is shaped by the environments they live in. Rabbits are compact and built for life close to the ground. Their legs are powerful but shorter in proportion to their bodies, giving them sudden bursts of speed designed for quick dashes into hiding places rather than long-distance running. Their ears tend to be shorter and rounder, helping them stay alert without sticking out too dramatically above the grass or burrow entrances. Their bodies look softer, rounder, almost plush, and that's not just cute, it's functional. A rabbit's build allows it to crouch low, disappear into vegetation, and blend into the earth. Everything about a rabbit says, stay hidden, stay safe, stay close to shelter. Hares, on the other hand, look like athletes compared to their rabbit cousins. Their legs are noticeably longer, especially the hind legs, which resemble delicate but powerful springs. They aren't built for sudden short escapes, they're built for endurance, distance, and breathtaking bursts of high-speed sprinting. Some species of hare can reach speeds that rival small antelope. Their ears are longer and more dramatic, helping them detect predators over long distances and regulate body heat in wide, exposed habitats. Their bodies are leaner, more angular, almost like they were carved for performance rather than softness. While a rabbit looks like it belongs tucked safely in a bush, a hare looks like it belongs in motion, racing across an open field with nothing but instinct guiding its path. Where they live plays a huge role in shaping these differences. Rabbits are architects of the underground world. Many species live in elaborate burrow systems known as warrens, networks of tunnels and chambers carved beneath the soil. These underground homes protect them from predators, weather, and heat. A single warren can house multiple families and span surprising distances, creating an entire hidden neighborhood beneath what looks like an ordinary patch of land. This lifestyle naturally makes rabbits more social. They communicate with subtle movements, thumps of their hind legs, and even scent markings that help them warn one another of danger. Their survival strategy is built on cooperation, early alert systems, and the safety of numbers. Hares live almost the opposite kind of life. Instead of burrows, hares rest above ground in shallow depressions called forms. These are simple, barely visible hollows in the grass or snow that provide only the slightest bit of cover. They don't dig tunnels, they don't build underground homes, and they don't gather in large social groups. Instead, they rely on remaining still and blending into their surroundings until the very last second. A hare sitting in a field may seem motionless for long stretches of time, trusting camouflage rather than shelter. And when danger approaches, it doesn't retreat underground. It explodes into motion, sprinting across open terrain in wide zigzags meant to confuse foxes, coyotes, or birds of prey. This lifestyle demands independence, awareness, and near constant readiness to run. The contrast becomes even more dramatic the moment new life begins. Baby rabbits, called kits, are born in underground nests, blind, hairless, and completely dependent on their mothers. They enter the world fragile and vulnerable, but because they are hidden deep inside burrows, this early weakness is part of their evolutionary design. Their mothers visit them only briefly to nurse, minimizing scent trails that might lead predators to the nest. The burrow itself becomes a protective cradle, allowing the young to develop safely until they are strong enough to venture above ground. Baby hares, known as leverets, are almost the exact opposite. They are born above ground, fully furred, eyes open, and able to move shortly after birth. Instead of being clustered together in one protected nest, leverets are often placed separately across a wide area to reduce the chance that a predator could find them all at once. Their defense strategy isn't shelter, it's silence, stillness, and camouflage. A tiny leveret sitting alone in the grass looks like nothing more than a patch of earth or vegetation. And if danger comes too close, it is ready to dash away much sooner than a rabbit kit ever could. From their very first moments, young hares are already living the same exposed, alert lifestyle that defines adulthood. Even when it comes to diet, small differences reveal deeper contrasts in behavior. Both rabbits and hares are herbivores that feed on grasses, leaves, buds, bark, and other plant material. But rabbits tend to feed closer to home, venturing out from their burrows just long enough to graze before quickly retreating back underground at the first sign of danger. Their feeding patterns are cautious and rhythmic, always balancing hunger with safety. Hares, living in more open landscapes such as grasslands, tundra, and prairies, often forage farther from resting spots and cover a wider range of terrain. They rely on distance and visibility rather than shelter, keeping their senses sharp even as they feed. Like rabbits, they participate in a unique digestive behavior called coprophagy, where they reconsume special nutrient-rich droppings to extract as much energy as possible from their plant-based diet. It may sound strange, but for small animals with fast metabolisms and limited food quality, it is an efficient and necessary survival process. Their behavior in moments of danger may be the clearest illustration of how differently they approach survival. A rabbit's instinct is to freeze, assess the threat, then bolt in a short dash straight toward the nearest burrow entrance. Everything about its body and environment is designed around escape into shelter. You'll often see rabbits sticking close to bushes, hedges, or ground cover so their retreats are never far away. A hare, however, lives by a rule of motion rather than refuge. When threatened, it doesn't look for a hole to disappear into. It launches into a full-speed sprint across open land, often leaping high and changing direction rapidly to outrun and outmaneuver predators. Watching a hare run is like watching pure survival in motion. Every muscle, every leap, every turn is purposeful. This is why hares have historically been associated with wildness, cunning, and supernatural speed in folklore, while rabbits have been connected to gentleness, fertility, and domestic imagery. Their reproductive strategies also reflect these very different approaches to life. Rabbits reproduce quickly and frequently, producing multiple litters each year. This rapid breeding cycle compensates for the high risks they face from predators. Their social structures and burrow systems support this, creating a safer environment for raising large numbers of vulnerable young. Hares also reproduce multiple times a year, but their litters are typically smaller, and the young are born far more developed. Instead of producing many helpless offspring protected by underground nests, hares invest more in each individual leveret, giving it a stronger start in a world where survival depends on mobility and awareness from day one. It is a strategy based less on numbers and more on early independence. Even humans interact with rabbits and hares in very different ways. Rabbits have been domesticated for thousands of years, raised for companionship, food, fur, and farming traditions across many cultures. Their calm temperament, social behavior, and ability to adapt to enclosed environments make them well suited to living alongside people. Over time, selective breeding has created dozens of domestic rabbit breeds with different colors, sizes, and fur types, further distinguishing them from their wild relatives. Hares, by contrast, remain almost entirely wild. Their nervous, high-alert nature and need for large open spaces make domestication extremely difficult. They thrive where they can run freely, sense danger from afar, and rely on their instincts without confinement. When we see a hare, it is usually only briefly, an unexpected blur of movement streaking across a field before vanishing into the horizon. So while rabbits and hares may seem nearly identical to the casual observer, they represent two extraordinary answers to the same challenge. How do you survive as a small prey animal in a world full of predators? Rabbits chose community, burrows, and strength in numbers. They mastered the art of hiding, cooperation, and rapid reproduction. Hares chose motion, independence, and life in exposed open spaces. They mastered speed, awareness, and the confidence to survive without walls or tunnels. Both strategies work beautifully. Both have allowed these animals to spread across continents, climates, and ecosystems. And both remind us that even creatures that appear similar on the surface can live profoundly different lives just beneath it. The next time you see a long-eared figure dart across a meadow, pause for a moment. Look at the length of its legs, the shape of its body, the way it moves, because you may not just be looking at a rabbit or a hare. You may be witnessing one of nature's most fascinating contrasts in action. Thank you for watching. If you have suggestions for our next video, feel free to share them in the comments below, and we'll be sure to acknowledge your contribution. If you enjoyed this episode, take a look at our other binge-worthy videos across the channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories woven through the smallest details of the world around us.